Good morning, Warriors. Vigor Warriors 2 here. Hope you guys had a nice weekend. I was going to go ahead and do one on Mike Tyson. I didn't get a chance to finish it, so I'm going to kind of just include this within the morning talk for today. And we'll look at the masculine frame of Mike Tyson and kind of look at what comment he made in one of his quotes that I read over the weekend. First of all, thank you for all the donations, subscriptions. We had a couple good questions over the weekend as well, and I'll kind of focus on those in the next couple days. I think one was on edging again, and that seems to be a topic of importance. So we'll kind of go back over that a little bit, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. And then the other one was focusing on a person who is 30 years old and wanting to continue to start benefits, and you know what the effect of being a little bit older has on retention and all that kind of stuff too. So we'll focus on a couple of those as we go along. But I kind of wanted to kind of get to this one with Mike Tyson because I promised I was going to do this. And so let's go ahead and kind of delve into this a little bit. Once again, please subscribe, like, comment, donate, those type of things, and hope you enjoy the show here. So we talk about Mike Tyson, and there's lots of pictures you can see of Mike Tyson, especially when he was heavyweight champion and all the things he did, and he was known for his brutality, his anger, all those type of things were things that you notice from Mike Tyson. Now, the thing is that and we don't really realize this, but a lot of times boxers are told, well, don't have sex, don't have intercourse before your upcoming fights. And we've known this all through sports history, that it drains you. Releasing energy drains you before you actually have the big event, and you want all your energy in your system. Now, why we don't apply that on a daily basis, I don't know. But you think it logically about that whole idea. You think to yourself, well, you want to be the best person you can be, not only in sports. Why don't you do that in all of your life? Why does it always take only sports to do that? And that was a question that started hitting me as time went on, and saying, okay, well, if you can go ahead and retain and hold your energy in before a big fight or before a big wrestling match or a boxing match, whatever it might be, then why can't you do that all the time? And why is it something that you do need to release at all? Obviously, as time went on, I realized, well, you need to go ahead and procreate, and that's God's purposes. But beyond that, what is the reason for your releasing? I guess that's the question. If you're looking for short-term pleasure, that's fine. If you're looking to procreate, well, that's a whole different matter, but it also depends on the person you're with and what kind of context of the situation and all that. But in Mike Tyson's case, here's a great example of somebody at the height of their power who wanted to become world champion no matter what, as other people like Muhammad Ali have done, and other people like that. And he purposely said in a quote, and I don't have a direct quote with me, I left it at home, but the quote basically said that having a conquest or conquering all these women took more energy out of me than added energy. And that's the only statement we need to know. And he basically said for 5 years he stayed away from women because he knew that it was wasting his energy. And that really is what you're talking about here when it comes to things you have to kind of look at and make determinations in your life. He directly said that he was really surprised and shocked how much energy it took him to conquest women. Now, later on in life, he got married and all things. It didn't surprise me that he started having trouble when all of a sudden he started losing his energy. Now, I'm not going to say it's a direct correlation between the two, but I'm sure it had a lot to do with what was happening, because I could see it in my own life, how it affected me in different ways. And so it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of his downfall times in his life, things that happened to him, just like all of us, occur because we lose too much energy or we're not really on top of controlling it. And I think when you're controlling it, you can see an example from him, especially, that when he's controlling that, he was beating people in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, right? A minute. Most people couldn't even get out of the first round. He was so brutal. And a lot of these guys were bigger than he was as well. But his brutality came out because he kept all of his energy. Now, I'm not saying necessarily it's good to have all your brutality out, except for like a sport like boxing, when you need that. But can you just imagine all the good things you could do and everything you can accomplish if you kept your energy inside of you, a lot longer than we do right now? And I realize, I went through this for 45 years. I realize that you're going to go back and forth at times and you're going to end up losing energy. But the thing is that what you want to do is realize and just start thinking to yourself, do I need to do this? Can I use this in a much more productive way? And I'm talking about your energy. Now, unless you're going to have a child and you're setting up a family and those type of things, that is what I think God meant all of this for, reproduction. But beyond reproduction, what are we really talking about? What is this, a short-term pleasure type of thing? Is it really more beneficial long-term? As Mr. Tyson mentioned, when you're talking about conquesting all these people, I don't care if it's men or women, really, whether you're a man or a woman, conquesting people takes time. You're basically losing energy than adding to it. And I think that's the whole thing that is astonishing. And I know that a lot of doctors, and you see a lot of YouTube videos and things talking about the fact that, if you go ahead and lose your energy and all these things will make your life better, will allow you to get better with it and happier life and all this kind of stuff. And that may be true for people. I'm not going to say it's not necessarily true. It wasn't true for me, bud. And that's all the person I can look at and say. I remember that there was an actor, I think Ernest Borgnine, when I was 91, he says, well, the reason I did this was because I was losing energy all the time. And he was talking about doing this on purpose. Well, whether or not it helped him or not, I don't know. I don't know his situation, but I do know my situation. And I know from my own aspect of things that it does not pay to lose your energy unless you lose your energy to have a child. And in my age, those days we've had our children, and so those days are over, and I'm at a different point. Now, for a lot of you, you're still facing a lot of those crossroads on whether this is something that you want to do or not. But once again, I go back to Mike Tyson's quote here, and he's basically saying that if he's losing energy, if he's conquesting women, he wanted to be world's heavyweight champion. He did not want anything to get in the way, and he needed to be at full strength. And full strength means not losing your energy. And that's why he stayed away from women for 5 years, so he could become heavyweight champion. Now that says a lot. Because if you're willing to make that kind of, in our world, it's a sacrifice, because people seem to be going the other way and having, intercourse and sex anytime they want to, not, seeing, any kind of ramifications. I saw a video, I think it was Jordan Peterson, and I can't remember if that was it or not, but it said something, was talking about people who think, sex is free and easy. Well, sex is not free and easy. As you do it more, you have both an effect on you and you have an effect on other people. And as people who do this more often, and I know they talk about the body counts and all kind of stuff like that, you end up losing your soul. And you affect emotionally and psychologically people left and right. And they get affected by that. And if you think that you're going to be able to develop trust for people after they've actually had intercourse with like 30 different people or 100 people, well, I'm going to tell you that's not very easy. Not very easy for a person who knows they've had 3 or 4 other partners, right? Because once again, God is not, in my mind, not meant to have going around and using your body in that way. Now, like I said, I'm, going to be 61 pretty soon. So I'm at a little different type of situation than many of my younger viewers here. So I understand completely what you're saying. But as an old timer here, kind of giving you a little bit of advice and recommendation, it's not always greener on that side. And a lot of times what happens, and a lot of it depends on you and your mentality, but when you're sitting there and you're just chasing people, just to have intercourse with them, and this is what the world is telling us a lot of times, we may think, well, we're getting all these great benefits out of this, when in fact, you're going to get short-term benefit, a short-term pleasure. In the long run, it's going to devastate you. And it put me in a cage, in a trap for many, many years trying to get out of. And that's why, I feel so much more free and happy now than I ever have. Is there times where you still have issues? Sure. But to my viewers who are in their 30s and just trying to kind of start this voyage, the benefits are always going to be with you. Now, once again, it's kind of a ironic type of thing, right? Because once you start using retention and you're going to try to avoid women, well, women are going to sense that. And there's a funny movie, I don't know if it's called 40 Days, 40 Weeks, or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it was, but this person went on a whole month of celibacy, and all these women are chasing him because they realize that he has that instinct inside of him. And we don't realize all of this, that we realize we're playing kind of a game that other people want us to play when we're not holding it in. And we're holding our energy in, all of a sudden now people chasing us. And I see the same thing at my age. I don't think that the age makes a difference in the world. I think if you're holding your testosterone, you're going to get positive feedback and comments from the opposite sex all the time. And now, once again, you're in a different stage because you're not interested in that. And so now, once again, you're reacting differently than you would have, 20 years earlier. And the same thing happens to people who are accomplishing goals. If they're looking to try to go ahead and accomplish those goals, they're now going to use that energy to focus on achieving goals, than compared to chasing people around all the time. And so it makes a big difference. And so as we look at this, and I think once again Mike Tyson's a great example of this, he had such a strong masculine frame that when you look at his physique, he's not a tall person, but he's a very strong person. And when you look at that, all those things he's doing, even at his age now, and you watch him, he's in his 50s, I think now, you could still see that. He had a boxing match a few months ago, and he still looked pretty good. Compared to the boxer he was going against, around the same age, I think. And when you're in your mid-50s and you're keeping it, you could tell that he, again, is using some retention. Now, who knows how much retention he's using? We don't know. People don't always talk about this type of stuff. But we do know that you can see the results, what he's doing, that he looks strong and he looks like he's using it. So now the key is going to be, can you kind of control yourself? And that's really going to be the key. Good days and bad days. There's a lot of bad days out there you have, and you will have. Satan is looking to kind of get you, or, something is going on, and you don't get enough sleep, or you get enough this or that, and all of a sudden now you're considering doing those things, losing your energy. In fact, it's interesting enough we say that, because I talked about this. I didn't talk about this, but I probably should about this, that I ended up having a dream in which I went off of monk mode, and I would stop myself in the middle of it. I actually woke up, because I did not want to do that. But that's something that's going to happen. Satan's going to be able to attack you in different ways, and obviously that happened. We should probably do something on 3 or 4 in the morning, because between 3 and 4 in the morning is a very interesting time, and I've seen some videos on this too. So maybe I'll save that. But that's kind of a lot of times when the spiritual type energies kind of connect and hit you when things are the most quiet in the world. So we'll talk about that more a little bit later. But anyway, I wanted to get back and finish up with Mike Tyson. I think that Tyson's a good example of someone that you can see the clear difference between when he was on retention and he was able to get that power as compared to when he wasn't. And I think that's kind of what you want to see. So anybody who wants to go back and kind of look at his history a little bit, where he ran into trouble, and you can probably see the period of time after that. And of course, we all go through different periods. It doesn't have to be 5 years. I'm at 630 some days now. In monk modes, I think 150, something like that. We're getting close to it, if not past it. So I have a long way to go to get to that 5-year mark, which I think, if you take 300 days, probably about 1,800 days, something like that. And so we're going to get close to that, and I'm going to keep going as long as I can. But I know that that's the truth. And when he did in those 5 years, he accomplished so much that you can't deny the difference between when he did that as compared to all those years when he didn't do that. And I think that makes a huge difference in the way that you look at the idea of whole retention. Look at successes he's made, and a lot of that, championships fighting and things like that he did, and how strong he was and how he knocked people out because he had that intensity. And I think that's a key type of thing. So, all right, my friends, today is February 28th, 2022. Hope you have a wonderful day. And like I said, I will do one tomorrow. We'll catch up on a couple of the comments over the weekend. I had some nice questions, and we'll talk about that coming up starting tomorrow. So until tomorrow, guys, have a great day. Battle on, and God bless you. God bless you.